Next up is our Southern Maine residential forecast. And we've got Dava Davin of Portside Real Estate Group who will talk about the single-family sector.
Hi. I'm really grateful to be here. It's such a pleasure to follow Britt. He is one of my favorites in the industry. Let's get started. So this was my last slide that I had on the board last year. I cut and pasted it. And I think I fared pretty well with the predictions. Overall, it was a really solid year in the residential sector. The spring was crazy again. We had our bidding wars. We had homes selling well over their asking price. We had a lot of broken-hearted buyers and some very happy sellers. But late summer into the fall, we really saw a leveling off. We saw the inventory opening up. We started to see some negotiating happen again. We saw folks that had priced their homes off of the spring market, and we saw them shooting for the stars and having to reduce their price and buyers being able to negotiate again. But overall, it still was a seller's market, but a great opportunity for buyers as interest rates did not climb, they fell. So this was the most expensive house to sell in Southern Maine last year. It was in a Gunquit. It was about 10,000 square feet with a carriage house, 10 bedrooms. The listing agent said it was designed with casual seaside living in mind. Any guesses on this casual living estate, what it sold for? Close. Almost $8 million. And then on the other side of the spectrum, this guy, also near water, freshwater this time, near Sebago, was a cozy 576 square feet. The listing agent said, "Bring this home back to life and make it your own." Any guesses on the price of that one? $12,000. About a month or two of taxes on the casual seaside living. So there you have it. That's the gamut that we saw in Southern Maine. Ironically, both buyers were all cash. So we're going to take a look at statewide data for the next 3-4 slides, and then focus the balance of the presentation on Southern Maine. We'll hit Portland, and then we'll look at some trends and close with the forecast. So this is a neat slide. You can see the last 20 years in the Maine market. In our last market cycle, we peaked at a median price of $194,000. And then, we took a nosedive during the Great Recession. It's taken 9 years to get back to that $194,000. That happened midway of 2016. And then we've been rising ever since. Last year, we saw prices rise 7.5%, and this year we're down to 4.65. But we have an all-time high price in Maine for a home. So how long is this price growth going to last? And I think we need to look back at the last cycle to figure out where we are in this cycle. Last time, we had a 7-year run, and for 3 of those years, we were growing at double-digit growth, so really an unsustainable rate. Now, we're about 5 years into this run, raising about 5% a year. So we could really stay here for quite a while. Transactions in Maine are virtually flat, and Britt touched on this. If we had enough inventory, we probably would have had more sales. We're up about 1.5%. When we multiply that by our prices going up for about 4.5%, we have a very healthy growth in our volume of 6.4%. So let's take a closer look at Southern Maine, which I'm going to call York and Cumberland counties. They represent 40%. Those 2 counties represent 40% of all the sales in the entire state. Our median price in Southern Maine is $312,000, where our other 14 counties It's only $169,000, well below the state median and frankly well below the national median. We're seeing prices 65% higher in southern Maine. A snapshot of the market here. Prices up about 5.5%. Again, units being flat, but homes are selling quickly. 15 days on the market. And with that, we're seeing the list of sale price ratio very, very high at 99%. I love this chart. It was super cool to plot it out. You can see the trajectory in both counties are exactly the same over the last 5 years, with Cumberland County prices being 10% higher. Both counties raising their price annually about 5%. Conversely, when we look at the days on market, they're just plummeting. We're seeing our most dramatic results in York County. 5 years ago, it took 54 days to sell a house, so almost 2 months, and last year, just 18 days in York County. Looking at price segments, so the lighter teal colors is the most of the market. About 70% of our homes sell at $400,000 or lower. With the same number of transactions overall, we did see a 10% shift into that above 400 and a 20% shift in homes selling over $1 million. So some nice growth in the higher price homes. All right, I do this chart every year in some fashion to answer the question, when should I list my home? Really dramatic results this year. In Cumberland County, between January and June, there was a $65,000 price difference. So homes closing in January and February, they're going under contract. You know, usually November, December, around the holidays. I think some of that was those sellers that were shooting for the stars and pricing those homes too high, and then they sat on the market and they had to lower to meet the market, and then the buyers are smart and they're like, "Ooh, it's been on the market for a while, I'm going to lowball." So also, I think Britt actually mentioned this to me, some of those sales in the summer are our larger waterfront estates also pushing those prices up. So 75% of our buyers are Mainers coming right here, staying in the state. Leslie and Commissioner Johnson talked about the in-migration, and we do have 25% coming from out of state, and the top 5 states that they're coming from are Mass, New Hampshire, New York, Florida, California. We don't have second home data, but in our company, we see that the Florida and California folks are looking just to enjoy the summer only. When we look by category, about 70% of the transactions are folks buying single-family homes, 15% condos, and then 8.6% are people buying land. Let's take a deeper dive into land sales. So when we look back 20 years, there's no surprise that we took a nosedive after the recession, and we've been climbing out of it since 2012. But we started leveling off in our number of lands transacted in 2016. So how does that affect the prices? Our land sales have not recovered like our single-family homes have. When we looked at that chart, we're like, "Ooh, we're like off the charts, highest ever." But with land, we're lower than we were at the peak of the market in 2005. Why is this? I think that the answer lies in new construction sales. Only 8% of our homes in southern Maine are new construction. We talk a lot about low inventory and such a demand for more inventory, but only 8% of the homes are new. And then when you look at the prices, new construction at $375, an existing home only at $305, and then the square foot pricing. So that's $215 per square foot, but that includes the land. So the builders in the room, I would imagine, to build a quality product at that price, you need to get that land as less expensive as you possibly can to make all the numbers work. So switching gears into Portland, our largest market. Everyone's always curious about Portland, and it is just going bananas. And it really is. When you look at this slide, you look at single-family home prices over the last 10 years, they're up 50%. Condos, in 2010, the median price was $193,000 for a condo in Portland. It's virtually impossible to find now. Median price now $320,000. This morning, I was poked in MLS to take a look at how many homes are for sale in Portland, and our median price, went from like $275,000 to $350,000, and there was 6 homes on the market. And Maine's largest market, 6 homes, they're going to be snapped right up. Portland condos. So 18% of our sales last year in Portland were new construction. You can really see the difference between resales and new construction. New construction per square foot prices, $495. The median size of a new condo was 704 square foot. Paris Terraces sold out, and that, they were micro units, but you can really see the difference in the shift. We had, interestingly, only 8 condos sold over $1 million. And there's so much buzz about Portland being so expensive, but when you compare that to other coastal cities, it really isn't for people from away. 3 of those sales were new construction and 20 teams, and the other 5 were resales. And about 30% of these buyers are from out of state, but the rest are Mainers. So some trends that we're seeing. Last year when I was here, I talked a lot about prop tech and iBuyers, and the iBuying companies are expanding to more and more cities all through the year. They've really found their niche of trading online homes that are $200,000 to $300,000. The good news for Maine realtors, we're not seeing this in Maine yet. Millennials are our biggest segment of buyers. Millennials have been about 5 years behind when it comes to getting married and starting families, so homeownership has come a little later for them, but now's the time. And Maine's population, as we all know, is aging. 21% of Mainers are 65 or older. So we're seeing more of a trend of people aging in place and a demand for first floor masters. And then Gen Zs, they're entering the market. So the upper end of the Gen Zs are about 25 years old, so entering as first-time home buyers. And we're also seeing the popularity of the suburb return. So let's take a look at our 2 biggest buyer pools, millennials and boomers. So as realtors, we're always taught that people move every 7 years. So year 6, pick up the phone, hey, how's everything going? But now we're seeing people are staying in their homes almost twice as long. So while we have the millennial demand, the boomers aren't necessarily moving. And when they are, the boomers' homes are a little larger than what the millennials are looking for, and a little dated. So we have the millennials and the boomers all looking for the same things, looking for smaller, more modern homes, energy efficient. So that's causing the demand to be so strong. As Portland prices, we saw in the last couple slides, have skyrocketed, the millennials are looking for more affordable places to put down roots. But they want it all. They're starting to have families, they're looking for good schools, they're looking for yards, but they also want amenities and walkabilities. We're seeing a demand for more sidewalks, for trail systems. So the idea of the hipsterbia, and we saw that in previous speakers as well, looking really to live, work, and play in the same area. Okay, so what do we have to look forward to in 2020? Prices. We're still going to be going up. I'm going to predict at a slower rate, around 3 to 5%. And the spring is going to be crazy again. We're already feeling it. We have more buyers than we have sellers. So get ready for multiple offers. Those offers are going to need to be very strong. Cash is king. The inventory, again, it's a common theme here, is going to be low. Entry-level homes and medium-price homes, buyers just have to be prepared for a little heartbreak and be ready to have great brokers help them find the right home. The election. So I really wanted to find something of value to tell you about the election year. But I went back for the last 4 years, for decades, to try to find something, but we have been right on trend every election year, so it's really going to have zero effect. We'll see a little bit of folks around October saying, oh, I might just wait to put that offer in until after the election, but overall it's not going to affect our trend. Market sensitivity, we started to see that in 2019 after the spring market. Overpriced homes will sit. Buyers are very savvy. They have a lot of information at their fingertips. And homes need to be prepared, updated. The shinier, the better. Buyers are very discerning, especially in those less desirable homes, really large homes, homes that are dated. And we'll see some price adjustments till we figure out where the market is. But overall, it's going to be another solid year, another seller's market, but lots of opportunity for buyers as well as the inventory does open up and interest rates stay very, very low. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dava, for another really great and fascinating presentation. So, as president of MEREDA, I probably get asked more about home prices than anything else, and something that I don't know that much about because I really work in the commercial and development area. So I rely upon this information to be able to have that cocktail party talk and fill in and answer those questions. So thank you.